Hi, I'm Tom Geiler, and welcome to this edition of OCTV. Today's edition is all about a new initiative we have here at the Mansion House called Connecting Communities, which examines the relationship between the Oneida community and the Oneida Nation. We've been working on this project for about a year with the amazing Megan Peters.
Hi, my name is Megan Peters, or known as Oneida. I am from the Onondaga Nation, but my maternal grandfather is from the Oneida Wolf Clan of Central New York, and I've been working on this project for about a year now, and discovering the close connection between both communities.
So, for today's edition, we're going to examine just a couple of the things that Megan's uncovered about this relationship. We're going to do it more as an object study. So, we're going to talk about the Strawberry Festival. We're going to talk about our best quilt and the images and clothing depicted on it. We're also going to talk about basketry and some of our corn husk dolls. So, Megan's going to walk us through these objects and talk more about that connection. So, stay tuned. So we're here at the Oneida Community's Cabinet of Curiosities, which was like a museum for the community to educate children and to demonstrate how worldly they are. And one of the objects that we've been really interested in is this corn husk doll that was made by Sarah Paulus John, who was from the Oneida Nation. Megan, can you tell us a little bit more about this doll and what it's doing here?
Yes. So corn dolls were a way for the Haudenosaunee people to teach the lesson of vanity. We usually didn't draw faces on the dolls to kind of remind our people to stay humble and to be kind and not to get so wrapped up in our looks. Which is why it's surprising that this doll has a face drawn upon it, but you can see the intricate detail of the Iroquois beading that we're known for, and the traditional regalia that we wear. And today I brought some modern versions of the corn husk dolls. As you can see, they're still just as intricate as the one in the Cabinet of Curiosity, but there are some modern day uses, such as these corn husk dolls that are actually used as wedding cake toppers. As you can see, the woman is holding the baby, and the male is wearing the loincloth and the traditional belts. And then this is also the modern day doll that we use. It's a little softer, a little bit more durable. You can wash it. And we usually typically dress these up with our regalia as well.
So, as we've been exploring our collections with the help of Megan, we've been finding a lot more objects that we think or thought had connections to the United Nation. And one of those we've always been told had a connection was this basket. Megan has done a lot of research on it, and I was wondering, can you tell me more about this object and how it relates to the connections between these communities?
So, looking at this basket here, it shows that it was probably traded with the multiple interactions between the Oneida Mansion Community House and the Oneida Nation. This basket particularly is used to display fruit on a table or on a counter, or just to hold it in the kitchen. There could have been multiple uses for it, but I believe that it was either gifted or traded um, among the interactions.
So, one of the major interactions was trade, right?
Yeah.
So, what kind of things were being traded back and forth between the two communities?
A lot that was mentioned was berry picking. Berry picking was huge. The Oneida natives would pick all day, and they would come back with bushels of berries for the community house, and they would trade them for either food. A big item was for bread pudding. They really loved the mansion house bread pudding. Or any other items that they would need, because the Oneida Nation didn't really use currency, so they really relied heavily on the mansion house for these trade items in their store.
Can you also tell me, does this object differ from more traditional baskets that you would see?
Yes, traditionally we usually use baskets a lot for berry picking. Actually, they have long straps on them, so we can just put them on our backs and just throw the berries right over our shoulders. We also have corn washing baskets that we use to wash the corn, because when we make corn soup, we cook them in ashes, or we boil them in ashes to kind of soften up the kernels. So they're a little bit more rugged. They're not as intricate and decorated as this is. So this was more for show than it was for actual utility.
One of our more popular objects here at the Oneida Community Mansion House is this album quilt known as the best quilt that was made in the community in the 1870s. But one of the squares that's always struck folks' eye is this one here, which depicts two Oneida Nation women. Megan, we need to know more about this square. Can you tell us what you know?
Yes, from what it seems, the two elderly looking women are wearing shawls over their heads with the traditional skirts and the very intricate sewing of the beadwork that would be on the moccasins. You can also see the detail of the leggings, which are very similar to the pantaloons that the Oneida Mansion House women would wear. Um, this shows as though they were probably sitting waiting, because if you can really see closely, it says, "Where's Marguerite?" And possibly they were sitting there waiting to trade because they were a daily interaction with the mansion house. So I believe that they included the Oneida people into it because they had such a strong relationship with each other.
So, Megan, one of the things that really struck me when you were talking about the dress on that quilt square was it reminded me a lot of what the Oneida community women would wear, what they called short dress or a reform dress, which was a skirt with then pantalettes, as they call them, or we call them today pants. And so I was wondering, can you tell me about this more modern dress that you brought, but how it would have been traditionally used and made, and what is going on in that quilt square? So
with the modern day dress, we have the ribbon dress, we have the tube or wrap skirt, and the leggings. Um, Modern day clothing obviously is now made out of cotton, linen, suede, velvet is a big item for these as well. And so the leggings originally were tied just above the knee to cover the calf area. And then you would next put on your skirt, which would cover over the leggings so you wouldn't see the ties. And then you would put on the ribbon dress that would cover all of it. So it looked very similar to the dress of the Oneida Mansion House.
Can you tell us about these moccasins?
Yes, and as you can see, the strawberry on them, just like as important it is for the Mansion House, it is for our people as well. These are baby moccasins. The beadwork is on felt, but on the back, we usually have a tail to kind of erase our tracks that are left in the dirt. But on baby moccasins, babies were usually held or in a moss wrap blanket and put on the mother's backs on a cradle board. So this is more of a modern day version of the moccasins.
So Megan, the one thing that we've really heard a lot about as we've researched this here at the Mansion House, but we wanted to get your perspective on, was the idea that the Strawberry Festival was one of the main interactions between the Oneida community and the Oneida Nation. So I was wondering, what have you found about that? What's the significance of the strawberry to your culture? And tell us a little bit more about those interactions.
The Strawberry Festival is definitely a key component to the friendship between the Mansion House and the Oneida people. The Haudenosaunee are a very social group of people, and we even host socials to this day to bring nations together and bring people together and to form friendships and bonds. And the fact that the Mansion House opened their door to the Oneida people is just huge in that day and age as well. To give them their own day, day two, and it just really made the Oneida people probably feel comfortable and safe to come in and interact. They would share songs between each other, which is exactly what we do amongst our own people as well. Singing and dancing and just having a good time is really just a staple to our lifestyle, and the Mansion House lived that lifestyle as well. And I feel like that really showed each other, their culture and their belief system, and it's very, very similar. So the strawberry to us is the leader of the berries. So we have our own ceremony for it as well. So not only are we getting the social aspect, bringing us together, we also have the berry, which is important to both of us. The Mansion House would make a tea. They got rid of coffee. They came to the strawberry tea leaves. And the our people have a strawberry drink as well, where we mash it, then we mix it with water to kind of give us like a sweet treat kind of a deal. And in the mansion house, having the strawberry festival just kind of ties us all together.
Megan, we can't thank you enough for doing all this research, for helping us understand these community connections, but we've only just scratched the surface. We're going to incorporate a lot of the information that you have provided to us into our tours, into our interpretation, really into doing everything that we do here at the Mansion House, because it's so important, these historic ties that continue to the present. So thank you so much, Megan. I also want to thank the Museum Association of New York for a grant that helped fund this amazing research. So we can't say enough good things about our friends at Manny. So thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for more content about these community connections into the future. Take care.
Thank you.